Did China miss its moment of global dominance? 20 years ago, China achieved something no large economy had ever done before. It grew at breathtaking speed. Factories exploded across the country. Exports flooded global markets. Today, the picture looks different. International institutions now expect China's growth to slow to under 5% and drift closer to 4% within the next few years. Without deep reforms, long-term growth could fall near 3% by the 2030s. That's not collapse, but it's not enough to overtake the United States. At the same time, global politics are shifting. Western nations are quietly trying to reduce dependence on Chinese manufacturing. Yet, there's a twist. China just posted the largest trade surplus in history, over $1 trillion in net exports. Countries still buy from China because they often don't have a real alternative. But that gap is opening. Vietnam, Mexico, Indonesia, and now one country is pushing to the front. India. Why China is slowing? China's rise was built on a simple formula. Cheap labor plus open trade. It worked perfectly. Between 2000 and 2010, its economy expanded around 10% every year. Hundreds of millions escaped poverty. But that formula is breaking. Wages have doubled over the last decade. Factory workers cost far more than they once did. At the same time, China's population is aging. Its working-age population peaked years ago and is now shrinking. Fewer young workers are entering factories, while more retirees need support. Then came the property collapse. For years, real estate powered growth. Developers borrowed heavily. Families poured savings into apartments. Local governments relied on land sales. When that bubble cracked, unfinished buildings spread across cities, and a quarter of the economy lost momentum. Globalization is also retreating. Advanced chips are restricted. Electric vehicles face new tariffs. Even companies that stay in China are adopting a strategy called China Plus One, keeping operations there, but building elsewhere as insurance. Robots and AI are adding more pressure. Automation now replaces tasks that once required hundreds of workers. The miracle model that once drove China forward no longer works the same way. Why India's moment has arrived, India followed a different path. Instead of factories first, it built a massive services industry, software, accounting, compliance, design. Now it is adding manufacturing on top of that base. At the center are production-linked incentives, government rewards for companies that actually produce and export from India. It's already working. Phones once made only in China are now assembled in southern India. Global brands are investing in appliances, automobiles, and semiconductor packaging. But India's secret weapon is digital infrastructure. Universal digital ID, instant payments, paperless verification. Small businesses can access loans. Suppliers get paid instantly. Bureaucracy is shrinking slowly, but visibly. States are competing too. Some focus on electronics, others on autos or textiles. This decentralized race is creating industrial clusters across the country. The challenge is ahead. Manufacturing still makes up only about 13% of India's economy. Power cuts, logistics, bottlenecks, and regulatory complexity remain real barriers. Growth has favored urban professionals, not rural workers. If India doesn't expand labor-intensive industries, it risks creating a two-speed economy. Elite tech hubs for a few, slow growth for everyone else. The global race. Vietnam has captured huge electronics investment. Mexico benefits from being next door to the US. Indonesia is betting on electric vehicle materials. But India offers something unique. Scale, political stability, a massive domestic market, and freedom to trade with both East and West. It buys oil from Russia, chips from Taiwan, weapons from Europe, and still attracts American capital. That flexibility matters in a fractured world. Final thought. China isn't disappearing, but the conditions that powered its miracle are gone. India isn't copying China's playbook. It's writing a new one. Not the cheapest factory on earth, but the easiest place to build, scale, and ship from. And if this window stays open long enough, India may not just replace China in global supply chains, it may redefine how the world builds everything.